All right, guys, it's Tarek from FTI back for another great webinar. And again, here with my good friend Tobias Young, who's zooming in from the US. And we've had this is our second, was our second attempt at this, but we did put on another great webinar previously, and we have all of these recorded as well. So we have our whole library of these. This particular webinar is going to focus on email marketing 101. And obviously more than that. And so Tobias is running a successful business online, and he's really helping many, many coaches. So without further ado, I'll get Tobias to introduce himself, tell him a little bit more about who he is, what he does, and then we'll dive into the details. Over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. T. It's great to meet everybody. Tobias Young, as you guys know, and what I've been doing is I've been working with online fit pros, the fit pros that are looking to actually build and transition their business online and be able to scale it up past 6 figures. That's pretty much what I help them do. Started back 24 years ago as a personal trainer back in a city called Chula Vista, which is South San Diego. And from there, I rose up the ranks in the corporate gym world, 24-hour fitness. I started managing multiple locations. And then I got into Gold's Gym, and then I got into In Shape Health Club. So I spent about 20 years building and growing a lot of personal training departments within the corporate gym chain. And 14 years ago, I decided that I wanted to actually grow the online business. And I started doing that before it was actually a thing. I really loved working with clients, but I was also kind of tired of the corporate gym, structure and how they can change your comp plans and they can do, whatever they want at any time and deny your time off. And I'm like, oh my God, what if you have a daughter's birthday or something you got to go to? It kind of sucks. But so then what I started to do is grow the online business. And I put together a lot of frameworks for the first 5 years. I struggled really bad at trying to be an online fitness coach. Then I started getting some help, working with some, business coaches myself. And then I learned really what it takes to grow a successful business. Now I am able to kind of give back. And it's just kind of like giving back as a personal trainer. You may start off like most of us, all start off because we have something that we want to improve, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether you wanted to lose weight, and you didn't know how to do it, and you finally found a way, and now you're able to help others do that, or maybe it's gain muscle, whatever it is. So that's kind of how it all started back in the day. So here I am, fast forward 24 years later, and we are rocking and rolling. So let me ask the group, I'm very curious, like how many of you guys already have an email autoresponder set up? How many of you guys nurture the leads that you do have by email? You can put a 1 in the chat if you do, and a 2 in the chat if you do not yet. Very curious to see how many people we have. All right, a lot of 2s, perfectly cool. So what we're going to go over today is some basic email copywriting tips, some things that you can do and you can implement that will generate more leads for you and also turn those leads into clients, okay? There's going to be 3 things that people have to have before they're going to invest, especially if you have a higher ticket type coaching program. They have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you. So if you don't have that know, like, trust factor, then you have to nurture those leads and build that rapport with them. And that's one of the reasons why email marketing is so very important that you have, so you can nurture the leads. Same thing with having a Facebook group, being in front of those leads over and over and over again, so they get to see that you are the real deal. So today what we're going to do is we're going to work on this, and we are going to rock and roll. So Tarek, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive right in. Are you guys excited?
Yes, let's get into it.
Some email marketing. Okay, hopefully everybody can see my screen. We all good, Tarek? Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, welcome to this workshop, right? This is the email copywriting 101, writing killer emails that get results. And if you stay to the end, which I'm sure you are, I have some really cool templates that I'm going to shoot over your way that you will be very thankful that you have, okay? So let's dive right in. Writing emails is pretty easy, right? Wrong. You just sit down, you put in a quick subject line, you bang out the body and text, and you hit send. It only takes a few seconds, and it doesn't require that much thought. So you think, That might be true for the email that you're sending to like your best friend or your mom or somebody, but what about the strategy for your business? That is a little bit more of a challenge. So we're going to dive into some of those things. The business and marketing emails that get the best response are those that have been carefully thought out. And they don't get sent unless they're nearly perfect. And these emails are going to be personalized, they're going to be relevant to your audience, and you're going to get your reader to take an action. It's not so easy, right? It could be a little intimidating for a lot of us, especially as you first start off. How can you know what makes for a great subject line and a compelling body copy? We're going to go over that. Should your emails be brief or should they be long? Should the subject line be simple and to the point, or should it be more creative? Those are all great questions. That's where I come in. And in this workshop, we're going to lay out the best principles of email copywriting. We're going to be talking about how to get inside the mind of your reader, how to craft that perfect subject line, how to create compelling body copy. And when I say copy, that's what everything is in the email. That's the body of the email, right? It's called copy. And that gets the readers to take an action. What do we want them to do? How do we personalize your emails? And we're going to dive into much more as well. So by the end of this workshop, you'll have a solid grasp on how to write outstanding emails that actually get results. Are you ready, squad? Yes, I'm sure you are. Let's dive right in. Okay, the ultimate goal of every email is going to be the nitty gritty, right? We need to first talk about the goal of every email that you need to send. So ultimately, your goal is to be engaging with your audience. You want your emails to get the reader to do something, whether that's reply, whether that's click a button, or whether that's something else. When it comes to business and marketing your emails, you're not sending them just for the purpose of keeping up with people, okay? You want the reader to take an action. So you want your readers, one, to open the email, and that's why you need to work really hard on your subject lines. The subject lines are going to be the first thing that you want them to do, is that's to open it, okay? Actually read the email itself. This is why you must work hard to craft the body of your copy and then take action. This is why you need a strong, compelling call to action with every email. And it doesn't need to be like, book a call with me here or any of those kind of things. You want to just tell them what's the next step that you want them to do. Okay, and we'll talk more about each of these in detail, but it is critical to get these things clear up front. See, here's the thing. Email is a two-way communication tool. Even if you're emailing a large list, you want your readers to engage with your emails. You want them to feel as if you're talking to them individually, not just blasting out like an email to a huge list. You don't want them to feel that at all, okay? If you can't get people to open your emails and read them, then what? Ultimately, you can't make sense to your audience. And as you participate in the rest of this workshop, I want you to keep this fundamental point in mind. It's easy to get lost in the details and forget that the main point of your email is engagement. Step one, let's get into the mind of your reader, okay? Most people don't even take the time to consider the psychology of their readers. Rather, they just simply dive straight into the email, hoping that if they send out a large volume of emails, that they're going to generate at least some sort of a response, okay? This is a very ineffective technique. Remember that there's real people at the end of your emails. And when you send an email without even considering what your reader is even thinking, you risk coming off as spammy, right? You've all seen those spammy type of emails. So how do you get into the mind of your prospect? First, remember that you're ultimately trying to convince an individual. A person is reading your email, and most people, they make decisions based on emotion and not logic right off the bat. Okay, so when writing your emails, consider the emotional state of your prospects. What are their hopes? What are their dreams? What are their fears? What are their struggles? And that's why it's really good to have a specific avatar, because then you know the pain points in there. Okay, and when writing your emails, I want you to tap into these things. I want you to help them see why working with you will alleviate their greatest struggles and their greatest fears, as well as help them achieve their goals. So real quick, in the chat, give me a 3 if you have an avatar, which is like an ideal type of client that you work with. Do you work like more specifically with a type of client, or is it just kind of like anybody and everybody? Give me a 3 if you have a specific type, and give me a 4 if you just work kind of like broad. Let's see some of these responses.
Cindy's given a 3. Tyler's given a 3.
Good.
Anyone else? Yep. Not sure who admin is, but there's a 3 there.
Okay.
Anna's got a 3.
Nice. Okay, sweet. So we got some 3s in there. So avatar, that's going to be extremely helpful when you get into email marketing, because then you can really taper into the pain points that that person is actually feeling. Okay. So second, I want you to consider when you send the email, how does your prospect typically work? Okay. Are they the kind of person who's going to be in their inbox all day, or do they do mostly only email in batches? Okay. While you can't know this for certain, you should be able to make a fairly good guess about when to send your email, depending upon the type of clients you have. And consider sending your email either early in the morning to get their attention first thing in the day, or else later in the day, so that way they see it before they head home for work. Okay. Step number 2, we are going to craft the perfect subject line. Okay. The subject line of your email is like the headline in a magazine or a newspaper. It's what gets the people's attention. It creates curiosity in them, and it compels the reader to actually read the rest of the email. A great subject line can result in a very high open percentage of your emails. Okay. While like a mediocre subject line is almost always going to produce mediocre results. So I want you to actually take the time and put together some really good subject lines. And at the end, I have a cheat sheet for you with subject lines as well. And you are going to love that. So on the average, most people get dozens of emails every single day. And if you want people to actually read your email, you need to get their attention right away. Okay. So don't skimp on the subject line if you want people to actually read your emails, which is the whole point, right? You need to spend a fair amount of time creating the perfect subject line, which will compel your readers to open the email. And how do you do that? There's 8 formulas that you can use to get the attention of your readers. Number 1, the question. Okay. Questions make for outstanding subject lines because they're going to force the reader to stop and think for a moment. They make the reader ponder how they're going to answer the question. Okay. And they create a sense of curiosity as well. And they make the reader want to know how you're going to answer that question as well. Okay. Some examples of question subject lines. Can you relate to this? Do you feel like this too? Okay. What do you feel, or what do you think about this idea? Do you feel exhausted without your morning coffee too? Do you make the same mistake I do? These are things that make you be like, man, I wonder what they're talking about, right? All these subject lines create what's called a pattern interrupt for the reader. Okay. In other words, they interrupt the reader as they mindlessly scroll through their inbox, and they force them to pay attention to your email. And they also push the reader to click on the email because they want to know how the question gets answered. Little tricks. Okay. Then there's the how-to. People love to learn new things that are especially relevant in their lives. And this is why do-it-yourself videos are so popular on YouTube. People have questions and they want answers, right? Using a how-to subject line, it piques people's interest, especially if it's really, really relevant to them. Okay, let's go over some examples of how-to subject lines. How to quickly get a flat stomach. People want quick, right? How to meal prep healthy meals in under 10 minutes. People are like, I want to be able to do that. How to lose 20 pounds and keep it off for good. And how to double your energy in just 14 days. Think about the pain points that your particular avatar has. What are they searching for? Like if they're going on Google, you should know like what are the top 5 to 10 things that your particular avatar is searching for. That's what you would put right in here. Okay. Then you create an email for that. Again, these subject lines interrupt the reader as they skim through the inbox, and they cause the reader to think. is this something that I want or something that I need to learn? If it is, they'll click on the email, okay? It's important to note that in order for the how to email actually work, you must know your audience like I was talking about. In other words, you need to know what they really want to know how to do. And as noted earlier, you got to be able to get inside the minds of your readers. And if you don't, your emails will not be relevant to them, okay? Number 3, scarcity. People are always afraid of missing out on something good, right? In fact, there's even a term for this fear. You guys know what it's called? FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. Like we all know that. So you can capitalize on this fear in your subject lines. And if you create a sense of scarcity with your subject line, there's going to be a greater chance that people are going to click on your email, okay? Let's go over some examples of some scarcity subject lines, okay? Only 2 days left to join the challenge. Okay, they're like, oh, shoot, I only got 2 days left. Or almost filled up to capacity, grab one of the spots now. Or only 3 hours left to register. Or this offer will be gone very soon. Or you're almost out of time. Or only 4 spots left for a one-to-one weight loss consultation. Okay, those are some examples in here. And then your goal is to make the reader feel like if they don't take action, then they're seriously going to miss out on something, okay? The more you can make your reader feel like things are urgent, the more likely it is that they're going to open your email. Then there's an announcement. Announcement triggers something within us. We want to be in the know. We want to be up to date, and we want to be on top of things, right? We don't want to miss out on any type of important information. So when you use words like new, introducing this, or just added, you make people feel like it's important. It's breaking information that they need to know, okay? Here's some examples of some announcement type subject lines. An important update to our training app, or you can say to our training facility. They're gonna be like, oh, wow, what is that? New, a faster way to get the weight off, or introducing the best way to build rock hard muscle, an invitation just for you. These are all examples of those type of subject lines, okay? And if you have any questions, you guys feel free to type them in the chat at any time as well. You want people to feel like they must open the email if they're gonna stay up to date on information, okay? Think about your own life. You don't like to miss out on any type of critical information. In fact, there's even a fear of missing out on that type of critical information, and you want to increase that sense of anticipation, and you want to increase the even fear within your readers on that, okay? Let's go on to the next one. The next one is called the numbered list. And it's no secret that people absolutely love lists. It's why magazines are constantly using headlines like 10 ways to get in shape fast, right? You guys have seen those ones. Or we like it when things are quickly broken down, like, you know, for us to scan. So when things are presented in a list format, we can easily get a sense of the entire thing quickly. And you can take advantage of this by using these type of list format subject lines. Let's dive in. Okay, here's one. The 4 best supplements that you should be taking. You guys have all seen these type of headlines, but they freaking work. And these are the same things that are in those big, in those magazines that you see at the grocery store, right? What about 7 ways to double your energy today? Or 15 ways to quickly burn more calories? Or 9 methods for getting in shape quickly? Or how about 6 steps to overcome binge eating? All the key points that your avatar wants to see, this is them. All right, so list subject lines, they also tap into the desire to gain more information. And we know that because things are presented in a list format, we're going to be able to quickly get information that we wouldn't otherwise be able to, okay? Here's the curiosity gap, okay? The top fitness websites and magazines, they constantly create curiosity with their headlines, and they're going to write something strange in their headline and then answer it in the body of the actual article. Okay, so for example, they might say something like, you never knew this about carbs, and you're going to be like, damn, what is it? I thought I knew everything about carbs. Let me see what it is, right? Of course, this makes you want to know what you never knew about carbs. And then you have to read the article to be able to find out the answer, okay? You can use this same tactic with the subject line of your emails. So let's go over some examples of curiosity gap subject lines, okay? A little known trick to bust belly fat, okay? Or he asked me a question that I couldn't answer. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this. Or most people get this completely wrong, right? Don't understand why this keeps happening. These are all great curiosity gap subject lines, okay? The subject line should create a question in the reader's mind. What is the little known trick to bust belly fat? Okay, what exactly weren't you expecting? Like, what do most people get wrong? And then in the email, what you do is you actually answer the question, okay? It's really important that you actually answer the question in the email if you're gonna do this. Otherwise, your readers could feel like they were like duped in the subject line, okay? Then there's the surprise. Studies have shown that when people are surprised in a good way, it actually lights up the pleasure center of the brain.